Breathe. Breathe. Just breathe. A code blue is defined as the emergency code to be called for a patient that goes into respiratory arrest. I was told that at 4 days old, my lungs shut down, and they had to do CPR on my 2-pound, 2-ounce body. The CPR lasted for 7 minutes. 7 minutes on a person that fit in the palm of his mother's hand. 7 minutes on a full-sized adult sometimes isn't enough to get them back, let alone a tiny baby. I was lucky. I was then put on a ventilator to keep my lungs operating. I spent the first 3 months of my life in the NICU, the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. This is a place where prematurely born babies go to be nursed to health, to be brought up to speed with the other normal babies. This was the beginning of my becoming. Throughout my childhood, I was swaddled. Physically, in that my limitations of having cerebral palsy kept me from exploring the world. I was stuck in physical therapy 5 days a week developing basic motor function, so I never had many of those quintessential kid experiences. And more detrimentally, emotionally as well. My parents, who had guided me through navigating the intensity of the world, were oftentimes too scared of someone like me facing the truth of the world, and so they kept me away. Swaddled in this blissful yet damaging state of self-importance and encouragement in aspects of my life that didn't involve my body. This usually involved something academic, like fostering in me a love for literature, which bloated my intelligence ego, but didn't really help in the social development department. I was consistently seen as an outsider by my classmates at school, as a bubble boy who needed to be kept in a box because you can't be honest with the disabled kid. I felt unseen and unheard. I still felt held back in many ways. Despite their efforts to support me, I could see through my parents' fake positivity. They encouraged me to do things only they thought were safe for me and my limitations. Sports? No. You might trip over your lip and hurt yourself. It's really not safe, sweetheart. Why not try drawing instead? You'll surely like it more. Dance? No. Your body just can't move like that, sweetheart. You really should focus on your reading. You love reading books. You know, D'Artagnan, you really just have to accept the fact that you can't do what everyone else can. We know it's hard, but it'll keep you from harming yourself. This led me down a path of feeling less than my peers. I was the kid who didn't get to play soccer after school, who didn't get to ride his bike around the neighborhood, who didn't get to go swimming in the summertime. I was the kid who didn't get to. But then, in the fall of my 6th grade year, I seized a life-altering opportunity. My elementary school was putting on The Lion King as its spring musical. I took the chance to audition, and to my surprise, I made the cut, and with a part none other than Mufasa. This might not seem like that big of a deal, but I was ecstatic. Mufasa is someone who all the other characters in the play turn to for guidance. He is someone they look up to and can trust to confide in. He is someone who acts as the light for everyone when all hope is lost. And most importantly, he doesn't let others' opinions of himself affect how he rules his kingdom. Through the process of rehearsing and performing in the role of a king, with security, poise, and self-assurance, I was able to explore myself in ways that I never had the chance to before. I was able to express who I truly wanted to be. I was able to prove myself, not to my peers, but to my inner self, to show that voice in my head that told me that I was less than for so long that I could do something. From this experience, my wings started their sprout. My parents separated soon after, and I suddenly had to adjust to them living separate lives. Despite my troubles of how their overprotectiveness negatively impacted me, they were often the people that held me together when the rest of the world wasn't kind to me either. And I couldn't have that anymore. But I also felt relieved because, in many ways, it was a cleansing opportunity for me. It prepared me for what came next. My mom met my stepdad, and we moved to Irvine. In this new city, I could ditch the old me, shedding myself of my social reservations and what-ifs that plagued me for so long. I saw the city as the light at the end of a very long, dark tunnel. Moving here was a culture shock, to say the least. Here, I felt an air of genuinity that I hadn't ever experienced. People cared about who I was and what I cared about. I felt more comfortable expressing who I was than I ever felt before, because the people I met provided me with a sense of security in so many ways. I was able to explore more deeply my interest in the Korean language and culture without having negative labels attached to me. And the people I met embraced me for my elaborate fashion sense and extravagant mannerisms. If you haven't already noticed, not only do I have cerebral palsy, but I am also gay. Being gay was something I struggled to express before coming to Irvine because I felt so excluded. I always thought to myself, why should I give them another reason to categorize me as an outsider? And so I blended in. But doing so was emotionally damaging. I felt somehow disconnected from myself because I knew deep down that my sexuality was a really big part of what made me me. I felt like I was locking an integral part of my identity away in an emotional prison. Being able to express the part of me that I suppressed for so long was a freeing feeling. It allowed me to establish deeper connections with the people I met than I ever had the chance to before. Slowly, I started to find community. Best friends to go on in-and-out runs with, to listen to obscure Brazilian samba with, to complain about our, but usually my, latest boy obsession with. People with whom I can share my whole heart and never regret it. It was thanks to this city that I found myself on a life path I enjoyed and could say truly filled my heart. I used my love of Korean to achieve my childhood dreams of traveling abroad, to gain a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to live in the country of and study the language I love so dearly. And those dreams will transfer into securing my future in linguistics, traveling the world. It was thanks to this city that I found myself. It was thanks to this city that I found my wings. We all have moments in our life that are defining. And while those moments may not always be happy or good, I hope that we can revel in and appreciate those moments for making us who we've become. For making me who I've become.